foremost, big up the Marley's family. You know, it's such an honor if you can say, I have a song with such a legend in the music business. As a youth going to school, me used to hear the legendary stuff where Marley's accomplished throughout the music, throughout, you know, reggae, when father put the music and then the father passed the light, the son them a carry the torch, powerful, you know what I mean? So if you even have a song with Junior Gang, Damian Marley is a great feeling, you know what I mean? The process, meeting up with them was a magical moment, you know what I mean? And them understanding and love for the music and patience to get it right is just remarkable. So
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Scoop, the channel where we break down the biggest conversation happening in Jamaican entertainment, dancehall, music culture, and everything surrounding the artists and personalities keeping the industry talking. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and drop a like because today we have a lot to unpack. We are going to be talking about Mr. Vegas, Beanie Man, Masicka, and Malidan. Also, we will be touching Alita and DJ Kent and hear what he has to say. So let's get straight into it. Let us start off with Mr. Vegas. This has become one of the more interesting conversations surrounding Jamaican entertainment recently. Mr. Vegas, whose name is given Clifford Simit, has been a recognizable figure in dancehall for decades, and whenever an established entertainer receives a major honor or recognition, there are always going to be different opinions. Some people celebrate it, some people question it, others will judge the artist based on what they see happening on social media today rather than looking at the person's entire career. And that is where this particular discussion becomes important. According to the discussion circulating around the recognition, Professor Dana Hope, a respected researcher and academic associated with the University of the West Indies, expressed support for Mr. Vegas being recognized with the Order of Distinction. Her argument, as reported in the discussion, was essentially that people should not overlook an artist's decades of contribution simply because they don't like everything that artists post or say online. And honestly, that's a point worth considering because social media has changed how we see celebrities. Years ago, an artist could release music, perform, do interviews, disappear for a while, and return with another project. Today, artists are constantly visible because of social media. Everything becomes a part of the public conversation. And sometimes people been judging a 30-year career based on one viral clip that appeared on their timeline yesterday. That is not necessarily a fair way to measure someone's contribution because Mr. Vegas has been a part of the dancehall conversation for a very long time. His breakthrough period in the late 90s helped to establish him as one of the recognizable voice of his generation. And whether somebody personally like Mr. Vegas or not, you cannot simply erase decade of musical activity because of a social media disagreement. That is an important distinction. But you can disagree with an artist's opinion. You can dislike a particular song. You can criticize an interview. But those things don't automatically erase someone's contribution to Jamaican music. And another name that entered this conversation was Beanie Man. Beanie Man apparent positive reaction to the discussion surrounding Mr. Vegas is also significant because Beanie Man understands what it means to have a long career in dancehall. He has watched multiple generations come and go. He has seen musical trends change. He has seen artists become popular and disappear, and he has remained a major figure himself within the industry. So when people debate whether an established dancehall artist deserve recognition, the larger question should be what has this person contributed to the culture? Not simple do I like this person? Those are two completely different questions. Now, let's be clear here. Giving an artist an honor does not mean every Jamaican has to suddenly become a fan. It does not mean criticism disappear. It does not mean the artist becomes perfect. And it certainly does not mean everybody has to agree with every decision the artist has made. Recognition is also about contribution. That is why these conversations can become complicated because one person might say, I do not like Mr. Vegas because he is doing right now. Another person might say that is fine, but look at what he has done for dancehall over the course of his career. Both statements can exist at the same time. That is the mature way to look at it. And this is not only about Mr. Vegas because the same principle applies to almost every veteran entertainer. When an artist has spent decades representing Jamaican music internationally, you can have to have an entire different look at the picture. How many years have they worked? How many records have they released? How much international exposure did they help to create? How many stages did they perform on? How many younger artists were influenced by their generation? How much did they contribute to the development of the sound? Those are the questions that matter because Jamaican music did not become a global force overnight. It was built by a generation of artists, producers, selectors, sound system operator, promoters, and musicians, and Mr. Vegas is a part of that history. Now, let's shift the gear a bit on this Mr. Vegas thing and move on to another conversation getting attention which involve Malidan and the amount of charges for his performance. So the discussion around artist fees is nothing new. Every time an artist say they charge millions of Jamaican dollars for a performance, people immediately start asking, is the artist worth that? But here is the thing. Who actually decide what an artist is worth? The artist? Is it the management team? Is it the promoter? Is it the market, the fans, the demand? The answer is probably a combination of all of them. Malidan has spoken about the difference between his Jamaican performance fees and what he can command internationally. And that makes sense from a business perspective because different markets have different budgets. A performance in Jamaica is not necessarily financially structured the same way as a performance overseas because promoters have different resources, venues have different capacities, sponsors can be different, ticket prices can be different, and the demand for an artist can change depending on the location. So if Malidan say his team has established a particular performance price, the market ultimately decide whether that price work. If a promoter cannot afford it, they don't book the artist. Simple. That is business. You don't necessarily have to insult the artist because their asking price is higher than what you personally think they deserve. You can simply say that is outside of my budget and move on. One of the more interesting thing about Malidan comment is that he seems to separate his artistic responsibilities from the business side, and that is something many young artists eventually have to learn to do because the artist's job is to create, the management team job is to negotiate, the booking team job is to handle the appearance, the promoter job is to organize the event, and everybody has a role. So when those roles are properly separated, the artist can concentrate on the music. That is especially important for an emerging artist because once an artist becomes successful, everybody wants something from them. People want interview, people want performance, people want collaboration, people want appearance, people want social media attention, people want endorsements. And if the artist tries to personally manage every single detail, then can easily become distracted and lose focus. So Malidan comments about allowing his team to handle the business side while he concentrates on music and performance, therefore raise a larger point. Artists need structure if they want longevity. Talent can give you attention, but management can help you build a career. Now, let's talk about one of the most interesting parts of the conversation, which is dancehall clash culture. Malidan has been also discussing his upcoming Golden Child project and has also addressed the ideas of clashes, and his position is interesting. He does not appear to view clash simply as something where two artists randomly wake up one morning and decide, I am going to attack this person. His argument is that there should be some kind of musical reason behind it, and that is an important distinction because the history of Jamaican music is filled with lyrical competition. Clashes have been a part of the culture for generations, but there is a difference between musical competition and personal hostility. A good clash can showcase creativity, it can challenge artists to sharpen their writing, it can create excitement, it can produce memorable records, but when things become too personal, the conversation can move away from the music entirely, and that is where things become dangerous for the culture. The healthiest version of a clash should be about the music. Who has the better lyrics? Who has the better delivery? Who has the better production? Who understand the opponent better? Who can respond faster? Who can entertain the audience? That is competition, and competition can actually make music better. So there has been a lot of discussion about whether clash culture is returning. Names such as Masicka, Malidans, and Skipper has been a part of the broader conversation, but the bigger question is, does dancehall actually need more clashes? My answer would be dancehall needs better music. If that music happens to come through competition, that is fine. But don't create controversy simply because controversy get views. There is a difference. A class should have substance. It should make people want to listen. It should make fans analyze lyrics. It should create debate about artistry. It should not simply become an excuse for people to attack each other personally. And Malidan comments about doing clash music only when there is a genuine musical situation are therefore worth listening to. Because at the end of the day, commercial music matters too. Artists have their bills, they have their team, they have their families, and they have their careers. So if an artist can make a successful song and make the ladies and earn more from it than a clash record, why wouldn't they make that song? That is not selling out, that is understanding the business. No, let's talk about Masicka. Masicka has been another major topic in dancehall conversation, especially with attention surrounding his Forever Rain project. Whenever a major Jamaican artist prepares a project, the conversation usually starts before the music even arrives. People start discussing the checklist, people start debating the features, people speculate about numbers, people start comparing the artists with their peers, and then the real test begin. What does the audience actually think? The interesting thing about Masicka is that he has built a reputation around a particular combination of lyrical ability, melody, street influence, and international ambition. That gives him a unique position. He is not simply trying to be a local dancehall artist. Like many of the current generation, he is operating in a world where Jamaican artists are competing for attention against music from America, Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, and everywhere else. That is a much bigger battlefield. So, projects like Forever Rain are important because they show where an artist believes they fit within that global market. And the conversation surrounding his event and ticket sales also demonstrate another reality because online trolling does not always tell you what is happening commercially. Social media can make something look like a disaster when it is not, and social media can make something look huge when the actual numbers don't support it. And that is why we have to be careful. Until the final numbers are available, we should not automatically declare an event a failure or a massive success. The better approach is to watch the trend. Is interest in increase? Are tickets moving? Are people talking? Are fans showing up? Those are the indicators that matter. There is another interesting part of the event conversation as well, because sometimes people assume that if tickets are not flying off the shelves week in advance, an event is finished, and that is not necessarily true, because entertainment market can be unpredictable. Some people buy ticket earlier, some people will wait until payday, some people wait until their friend decide to go. So the internet move extremely fast, but business does not always move at internet speed. Now we are moving into one of the strongest parts of today's discussion, which is talking about DJ Kent. Kent has been talking about the role of selectors and the state of Jamaican parties, and his argument is basically this: you cannot have a successful party without properly respecting the person controlling the music. Think about that. You can have the biggest venue, you can have beautiful decorations, you can have expensive lighting, you can have VIP sections, you can have social media influencers everywhere. But if the music is not connecting with the crowd, the party can still fail. And that is where the selector comes in. A good selector is not simply somebody who presses play. A real selector watches the crowd, they study the reaction, they understand timing, they know when to increase energy, they know when to slow things down, they understand transition, and they understand musical history, and most importantly, they understand the people. And I believe that that is a skill. So, one of the strongest point coming from DJ Kent discussion is the importance of crowd control. Imagine you are at a party, the DJ plays a song and the crowd respond. Another song come, the crowds get even louder. Then another, the energy rises. That's not random. The selector is building a momentum. It is similar to a sport team controlling the pace of a game. You don't just attack for 90 minutes without thinking. You understand momentum, you understand timing, you understand when the crowd needs something different, and dancehall is especially dependent on this because Jamaican audience are highly responsive. If a selector understands the crowd, they can turn an average night into a memorable one. But if the selector does not understand the crowd, even an expensive event can become boring. This is where DJ can criticism get interesting. You can have thousands of people inside a venue and still have a party that feel lifeless. Why? Because attendance is not the same thing as engagement. People might be standing around, people might be video recording, taking pictures, talking, but are they actually enjoying the music? Are they responding, dancing, singing, moving together? That is what matters. A successful party should create moments people remember, not just a photograph, and that is something the industry needs to think about because social media has changed nightlife. Sometimes people are more concerned about looking like they are having fun than actually having fun, and that creates a strong environment. Everybody is holding a phone, everybody is recording, everybody is trying to capture the perfect Instagram or TikTok moment, but the best parties are often the ones where people forgot about their phones for a while and simply enjoy the music. And that's where we're going to leave the discussion for today. We have covered a lot. Mr. Vegas and the debate surrounding his recognition. We look at what Professor Dana has to say, Beanie Man has to say, Malidan and his thoughts on clash culture and his Golden Child project. And we also look at Masicka and Forever Rain. Also what DJ Kent has to say. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Mr. Vegas deserves the national honor based on his contribution to Jamaican music? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, but let it be respectful. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the Daily Scoop, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next update.